Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you are dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Man, he wants you to remain a boy. He wants you to remain a lackey. He wants you to remain dependent on him. He wants you to come looking to him for some kind of advice or some kind of teacher. No, you teach yourself and stand up for yourself and respect yourself and know yourself and defend yourself and be yourself, and you'll be recognized as an intelligent person.
Whites can help us, but they can't join us. There can be no black-white unity until there is first some black unity. We cannot think of being acceptable to others until we have first proven acceptable to ourselves. Concerning nonviolence, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks. There are problems in the community. Some of those examples of those problems are the vices that destroy the moral fiber in our community. Drunkenness, drug addiction, prostitution, organized crime that robs the Negro community of probably 90% of its economic potential and moral potential.
Once you change your philosophy, you change your thought pattern. Once you change your thought pattern, you change your attitude. Once you change your attitude, it changes your behavior pattern. And then you go on into some action. As long as you got a sit-down philosophy, you'll have a sit-down thought pattern. And as long as you think that old sit-down thought, you'll be in some kind of sit-down action. They'll have you sitting in everywhere. It's not so good to refer to what you're going to do as a sit-in. Then right there, it castrates you. Right there, it brings you down. What goes with it? Think of the image of someone sitting. An old woman can sit. An old man can sit. A chump can sit. A coward can sit. Anything can sit. Well, you and I have been sitting long enough, and it's time today for us to start doing some standing and some fighting to back that up. I'm no politician. I'm not even a student of politics. I'm not a Republican, nor a Democrat, nor an American, and got sense enough to know it. I'm one of the 22 million black victims of the Democrats. One of the 22 million black victims of the Republicans, and one of the 22 million black victims of Americanism. And when I speak, I don't speak as a Democrat or a Republican, nor an American. I speak as a victim of America's so-called democracy. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. If you go to jail, so what? If you're black, you were born in jail. If you're black, you were born in jail.
Because I think you believe in the God who created the universe, and that's the one we believe in, the one who created the universe. The only difference being, you call him God, and we call him Allah. Jews call him Jehovah. If you could understand Hebrew, you'd probably call him Jehovah too. If you can understand Arabic, you'd probably call him Allah. But since the white man, your friend, took your language away from you during slavery, the only language you know is his language, you know, your friend's language. So you call him, you call for the same God he calls for. When he's putting a rope around your neck, you call for God, and he calls for God. And you wonder why the one you call on never answers you.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control them. The same strategy that was used in those days is used today by the same white man. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent. Build him up, publicize him, make him a celebrity. And then he becomes a spokesman for Negro and a Negro leader.
IRFM wishes to advise that the views expressed on the Cutting Edge are not necessarily those of the company.
You're listening to your radio. Whoa. Cutting Edge is on your stereo. Yeah. Mutabaruka leads the way. So just you let the station play. Yeah. Say your teachings got to hold on me. Yeah. Well, this is Kimani and you're listening to, Mutabaruka. IRFM, Cutting Edge. Whoa!
Thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yeah, good night. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM next Wednesday. We have a very interesting program here, as we did tell you last week. Yeah, we tell you, we're going to feature Ben Buchanan, one of him lectures. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to feature one of Ben Buchanan lectures. So, I don't know how you can tape it, but you can tape it still. Well, you know, so everything can tape nowadays. Everything can tape. You don't have to buy nothing again. From you have YouTube, or you have iTunes, whatever the other one, and some pirate, something like that. You can't get anything.
Civilization flow down the River Nile. It also gave us a sensitive child.
Yeah, as you might know, Ben Buchanan, that great Egyptologist, writer of many books and great motivator when it comes on to African principles and African history. Ben Buchanan passed away. And you know, said this radio station has always featured Ben Buchanan. As a matter of fact, twice this radio station brought Ben Buchanan to Jamaica. We want to pay tribute to Ben Buchanan tonight by playing one of his lectures. That's the only way we could have, the best way we say fitting to pay a tribute, by just playing one of his lectures. So tonight we're going to feature Ben Buchanan in one of his lectures. So we want you to listen keenly and carefully. Yeah, listen to Mystic Revelation of Rastafari. Big Turtle River. Yes, Big Turtle River. Produced by yours truly. Think Neil alone can produce music. We have a whole album here, so if Neil never listen to it, yes, I must have produce it, man. But I want to come sit at my feet and learn. Laugh. Okay, so this week is also today what, the second? The second or the first? Or the first, you know? Second. Anyway, well, a second or first? A Friday or the third. So we are just so today will be first or second. We know it's a Friday or the third. So you know, Friday is Empress Menin Earth Day. For those of you who don't know who Empress Menin is, she is the wife of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Empress Menin Earth Day. And it's also the commemoration of that atrocity that was done on Rastafari 1 year after independence. Them call it the Coral Guard incident, where lots of Rasta feel the pain and agony of what it is to be an outlawed criminal, not committing any crime. But you know, we survive. You know, them cut off with locks. We survive. In all of the humiliation, we survive. In all of the jailhouse, we still survive. We survive. All when them the one with picnic, go out in school and touch for them picnic. We survive. We survive right now that the stone that the builder refused is now the building. Rastafari has brought so much to Jamaica. Rastafari has branched out into many cultural perspective and manifestation right now that we hear all our youth. A musician youth that try what we call redefine Rasta. It's that even a Jamaican either, you know. Yeah. You must try to redefine Rasta as a foreigner. A white guy at that. Anyway, that's our next story. But Rastafari survive. And we're there still and continue the journey of African redemption, African liberation. We're not for the African redemption part and African liberation because that was the reason why Rastafari start. Rastafari under Leonard Howell start because the need and the necessity to liberate black people consciousness and mind out of the colonialism system and the white supremacy that plague us up to this day. We had to identify ourselves, our country, our leader. And this is how Haile Selassie come. And this is how Africa come. This is the ultimate black power movement. A black power movement that have a spiritual nucleus. And when I used to go to school and I hear about the Black Panther Party and the Black Power movement, it was a very politically driven movement in America. We never get to understand as you that what is the spiritual connection, because every African country that you go in, it have a spiritual part of it. And as you to go to school, we never see no spirituality in the Black Power movement. As a matter of fact, most of the men them who used to move to Black Power was Marxists and Leninists. And in the journey, we see that Rastafari provide that spiritual move. And it never make we left the Black Power movement. All we do was just to know, engraft that spirituality into the Black Power movement, just like where Leonard Howell do. So Rastafari is a Black Power movement that is designed to uplift and advance the welfare of black people. Thus, Haile Selassie as the nucleus of its spirituality, because black people lost them spirituality, cross the Atlantic Ocean, and coming on also into this thing called Christianity, this Western Christianity that give rise to some stupid, superstitious things that have nothing to do with our African retentions. So now the Black Power movement has branched out, that now we hear people redefining this Black Power movement. But it is a Black Power movement. I challenge anybody to tell me different. Rastafari is a Black Power movement designed to free and liberate black people out of colonialism and white supremacy. That is it. So, take it as it is. Take it as it is. This is the cutting edge on IRFM. All right, here we go again. IRFM is pleased to announce that the listeners in Jamaica can now listen to IRFM.net free anywhere on the island. All you have to do is log on to IRFM.net, click on the listen live button and log in with your Facebook details. It's that easy. Once again, IRFM is pleased to announce that listeners in Jamaica can now listen to IRFM.net free everywhere on the island. All you have to do is log on to IRFM.net, click on the listen live button and log in with your Facebook details. Upon the island alone, they was out. And them those people are listed out there upon other islands free. Okay, so we did talk about the Rastafari principle and how people try to turn it round and twist it round. Like say it did come for the universe. Even in the Bible, when I read in the Bible and I realize that Jesus said never come to save the world. And him come to turn mother against father and this and that. And also, him come for the last sheep of Israel. Well, you know, Leonard will say, Haile Selassie, because we did that talk about the King of England. He must say, but we have a king and we have a kingdom. We don't need the King of England and we don't need for them kingdom. You know, them put him in a Bellevue. As usual, them put everybody in a Bellevue who come with a different thinking and different thought. So only if a madman or madwoman rise up out of Leonard Owl and continue saying Rastafari Emperor Selassie the First, and them couldn't get that out of the way. Them now get it out of the way still. But the movement of African people must be recognized, because African people were the first people on earth. So no matter how long it takes, African people got to reclaim them glory. But in order to reclaim the glory, you have to know who you is and who you are in the Gideon, in the struggle. And right now, you have some black people get lost in the colorful world. The colorful world that we find ourselves in. But Rastafari is a black power movement. Rastafari, the movement named Rastafari, is a black power movement. You know, Bob Marley have a tune about a black man redemption. Whoa, no need to get bummy. It's a black man redemption. I should have find the tune too. Yeah, I should have find the tune. Black Man Redemption by Bob Marley is a very important music, reiterating the argument of blackness in Rastafari, where some people are trying to get out. If Rastafari now deal with the Africanness of African people, it don't make no sense. You know, and if you try to change it into a universal concept, it not gonna make no sense neither, because the universal concepts them out there is just spirit with no body. And the political people them out there is just body without spirit. Because some people are look for body, which is the physical, which is the political, and some people just look for just spirit. Where Rastafari come show me is body and spirit in one. So when I look for just body and when I look for just spirit, when I look for dead and go to heaven, where I say heaven is right here and now. If there is such a thing, speaking figuratively. But when we talk about liberation, when we say liberation, one must not confuse it. When we say liberation, we talk about African liberation. When we say liberation, we are talking about African liberation. And when we hear it, when we talk about spirituality, we are talking about the African spirituality that define us as a unique set of people on earth. So if I want to latch on to it, you know, when I say a man can't latch on to it, you know, the problem is that when a man latch on to it, the people them who originate it lose themselves and start going like the people them who latch on to it. Are we doing that? No man now come make me become no branch when I had the root from long time. I had the root. It's like what do the herbs, you know. Look how long Rastafari dead, imprisoned, beaten, whipped for this plant. And now some people are come latch on to it and I kind of ease out the Rastaman. The Rastaman can't allow himself to become no branch because him is the root. So we're not going to make, well, I personally, not going to make nobody latch on and then come now make me have to change my way of looking upon things. And that me see a whole heap of things are going that way there with whole heap of Rasta. Because he want to appease. He want to appease people and places and things. He start to reconstruct his philosophy. And in so doing, is not able to hold on upon the authenticity of his concepts and ideologies. Because him not have to compromise that ideology and philosophy. And when him compromise it, him water it down. Water it down. And we don't know water down is nothing. We don't know water down. I want a man know that. This is the time of understanding, and how you understand yourself is very important. Okay, so we just pass that on because we need to say it in light of where we're going to play us now, and in light of this week, which is the memory of the Carol Garden incident in Montego Bay. But before we play it, we have to play this. We have to play this to reiterate what we say. This is what we're playing to reiterate what we say. No need to get jumpy, man. No need to walk away. A black man redemption. Yes, Bob Marley reiterating the journey. A black man redemption. No, it's like to say, until the philosophy that all one race superior and another inferior. The man say, until that day, we Africans will fight if it is necessary because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. So we have to fight, because the philosophy that all one race superior and the other inferior is not black people philosophy. So I say know what him said. Him say until the philosophy. What is the philosophy that all one race superior and the other inferior? Racism, white supremacy. That is where all him say until. It's African people him relate to. Him say we Africans will fight because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. Until there is no first class or second class citizen, until the color of a man's skin is as of no significance. But we will fight until that day. We're not going to stop fight and say, and all up around and I say, yeah, wait. No. Because we're not going to twist and turn around the philosophy to suit what is happening now. Because we have visa and because we can travel and jump up on stage and sing, let's get together and be all right. And because we can walk with the slave master children, we feel like the journey until done. And the until still exists. Not because we're walking with the slave master children. If you look upon the position of African people, and in a smaller way of Rasta, if you look upon Rasta position right now, and you say we still a struggle. And those of us who recognize that struggle even harder because we want, it's like almost you have to show say you're out of this thing, because man will come take liberty with you. Because that them love to take liberty with Rasta. Me remember when we used to bomb lift from Ocherios to Montego Bay, we have bomb lift. And when we have bomb lift, when I have a bomb lift, we want to pay to, panel. We come from Negril to Montego Bay. And when we come from Negril to Montego Bay, and we go to boom and wave down something. We have to be at the bus terminus to get driving, because no guy now stop, You know much time. Me have to go up in the back part of Volkswagen when minivan was Volkswagen, and used to lift up the back and put luggage on the back there. You know much time to me no want sleep at Oche on the roadside. Me have to just do with the luggage part and crimp up behind it to drive go Oche. You know much time me I come with my little yacht. And people are torment me. Where make you have the little picnic so? Where make you not comb the picnic head? You know much time you do to Alpha Tree Road. And bossman say, he's the dread. You can't come in here, I'm going to touch the people them. Me here, I'm going to touch the people them. And you want to see the people them who me here, I'm going to touch to Them ear greasy and straight. Like what? Like it a come out of some tailor shop. Easy dread. You can't come in one, you have to wait. You have to wait till the crowd settle down, especially with the Alpha Tree. You have to wait till the crowd, because early morning everybody are going to work, Nobody no want to pick up Rasta man them time there, You have to wait till the crowd settle down, that you can't get all that seat in the bus when nobody not sit down beside you. As a matter of fact, old nigga dangerous because as a matter of fact, I stand up a man apart that day. I stand up a man apart that day and I buy melon from one man. We have a melon thing there, so And I see a bus a come down the road, With the conductor swing off on the side of the bus, And I see a bridge when I come down the road without him never have no shoes. And him locks kinda like him just a locks, you know. And you see when the conductor slow the busman slow down, you know. You see when the conductor look on the bridge, him just lap the bus side, you know, boom. Because the youth run toward the bus to jump on the side of the bus, you know. You see from him say him just slap the bus, you know. And the bus just drive off, left the youth, you know, right? And I say in my heart, you know, I say, boy, I tell you things not change because a them thing that we used to go through when we live at Mobile, when we live at Kingston, a them thing that we used to go through. A man look at you and him say, you have no shoes, and him say, you locks. Him say, no, dread, take the next bus. Yes. So, when we remember those things, and when we realize, say, a whole heap of things not change for Rasta to where it's supposed to be. We have to continue the struggle. Seriously continue the struggle. We not bow and bend and scrape. That's why I say, I reiterate it, you know. Rastafari, true Leonard Owell, true Marcus Garvey is a black power movement with a spiritual center that these black power movements never have when it start. When Black Panther Party start, when they have all the black power movement in Jamaica where we used to go amongst man. I don't call them names, but we used to go among some hardcore black power man. We have planned revolution in Jamaica, yeah. As I used to slow amongst them, I hear plans. But them never have no spirituality that define them as a people. And they will go amongst church people. And hear the church people, them appear spirit them in, but them never have no physical connection with the spirit. They might try to separate them spirit from them flesh. And they will go among some Rasta in some hardcore bush where some of them can't even read or write. And we recognize that connection in a them man there. When the man them tell you, say, you see the sun in the sky and the source of all energy. Nobody tell you nothing about no Jesus. When the man them plant them food, that's the greatest, that's the sweetest thing about them. When them plant them food and seed come and grow. That man a go a bingy man just have a crocus bag of this and crocus bag of that, go choke and the bingy so just to bluff. Man cook for 7 days, 21 days, so long as being a child, so man a born, yes, so from this or to this, so. And now we see some man a come go and like say, the until is finished. He say, it's like they say, until. And he say, well, we don't have to say until again, you know, because, you know, we don't have to fight again. And I say, Africa, Armageddon has passed. I interpreted that to mean slave trade, Atlantic slave trade, and other things them that infiltrate Africa and brought the people out of Africa, put them on them knee. And when I hear this, say, until the philosophy, I am interpreting, I don't know if you're next man, you know, I talk about I personally. I interpret that philosophy to mean racism and white supremacy, where there's a difference in the color of a man's skin. And I create that, you know. We just create a liberation movement for freeway from the agony that has been created and placed upon us. It's them find a man lynch, it's them find a black man lynch in the south the other day. You see, from Obama become president, racism is on the increase in America. Tenfold racism has increased in America since Obama upon the throne of Babylon. So it's not a joke thing. It's not a joke thing. You understand? Black man redemption, no need to get jumpy. Spread out. Spread out. That Bob Marley say. Yes. Come to the end. So, we did talk about how people are trying move Rastafari from the Black Power principle to something where now go old. You know, a man just remind me a while ago, Haile Selassie did say until African righteous people come together, the world will come together. So we have to come together first. And that's the until me I talk about, you know. Africans have to come together. It's like your family, you know. You have to work with your family first. And sister, your family all right. You know, if you're in a boat and it sink, and you feel say you can't, your family there on the boat with other people, your instinct show you say you have to save your family first. It's like you watch football, and no matter which part Jamaica play, even if you don't like the Jamaica team, you tend to want to cheer for the Jamaica team because you feel more connected to them. A black man and a white man are boxing in a boxing ring. Whether you know the black man or the white man, it's like you cheer for the black man, even though the black man can't even box. And when the black man loses, now then you start to cut and say, hey, the black man, you're an idiot, man. You understand? But there's an instinct in you. So may I say, Rastafari is that instinct. We're supposed to rise up when you see certain injustice are going on. Not because no, we can afford to drive up and down and take plane and fly go all over the place as artists or as whosoever we is. There is a need for a revolutionary spirit. Still, we need that spirit to awaken us to that black man redemption. We have to wake up. Some of we are asleep. Some of we really asleep and we forget easily. Black people forget easily. The things with the Jews don't make you forget. The Jews don't allow you to forget. As a matter of fact, you hear people talk about Hitler. Hitler, them say kill 6 million Jews. And most people know about that atrocity than know about the works of Marcus Garvey. We never commit no atrocity. Can you imagine that? Most Jamaicans will tell you about, you know why? Because the propaganda machinery is heavy out there when it comes on to propagating what Hitler did. Yet still Marcus Garvey, that advanced African people, and have millions of African people are alive. When you talk to Jamaicans, let me tell you, say, boy, Hitler wicked, you know, Hitler killed 6 million Jews, you know, this and this and that. And we ask him about Marcus Garvey, say, yeah, they don't know about Marcus Garvey, born at St. Anne. That's all them know about Marcus Garvey. Rastafari must not fall into that. Must not fall into that. We must not allow them to define us and use their logic to define us. So when you hear a man say, Haile Selassie is Jesus, you have to wonder where I really say. I mean, you know, I wonder where I say still because you was at that level at the time, one time. Well, I don't know if I used to say Haile Selassie is Jesus at no time, not even at 12 tribe I used to say it. It kind of annoys me when I hear people say, even in a 12 tribe, when I was in 12 tribe, it kind of frustrates me when I hear it. I don't know if it's because I didn't move among some bingy man. You know, or I would never feel comfortable with this Jesus talk. But the definition of Haile Selassie as it relates to redemption and the definition of Haile Selassie as it relates to liberation is something that we seem to lose. When I say Haile Selassie has a redemption and a liberation, we say Haile Selassie has some symbol of worship. So we just go on like, when the Christian them go on like and worship Jesus, so everybody worship Haile Selassie. And when I look to the redemptive element and why Leonard Howell did hold on pan Haile Selassie, when Leonard Howell say, this is our Redeemer, this is our Savior, it's a deeper thing than pie in the sky thing we matter about, a deeper thing. So we have to look on the redemption, the redemptive element, and the liberative element of Rastafari as it relates to African people, redemption. Can't leave it out. Because all the spirituality does is to connect us to the physical and make me know where right now Africa is a physical place. Our spirituality must be defined in an African context. Not in a European logics. In African context, we have to define our logics in an African context. And we have to create our own identity. Now, make no guy say, oh, you get that to be that. And tell me something, I still have to create the world, I still have to this, I still have. Some people fool and rank too. Them rank sometimes too, you know. I come go on like say, yeah, idiot, you know. So tell me something more, sir. I still have to create me. It's like you have some people who are in my past. Say, Musa, wear your shoes there. I have to tell them, I left it at your mother's yard. And you know that I insult. Them take it as insult. But guess what? Them don't know say it's antagonize them when them are bad. So Musa, wear your shoes there.
People playing all of
and them know say Musa not have on no shoes and no wear no shoes, you know. But them just, it's just that them do Rasta for the next level. That them do Rasta on the next level continuously. Me remember them used to torment me about my little daughter. Every time them see me, Jesus Christ, look what the boy do to the little picnic head. I mean, I do nothing to her ear though. We just make it grow naturally. I want to realize that when you comb somebody's head, and you do something to the head, when you make a little picnic ear lapse, I know you do something to it. And nature do something to the picnic ear. Why it looks so? When you cut off and trim up, and you do something to it. So when a man look at me, you know, and I say, look what you do with the picnic ear. Me never do nothing to their ear. Me never do nothing to her ear. Me just make it grow. It's like them Babylon have the thing, not even Babylon. Men and people have the thing wrong side. Them have it so wrong side that it's not funny. Them have to ask that thing with them ear. And I ask you now, look what you do with your picnic ear. Me never once put a comb in my picnic head. Not once. Me just make it grow. Just like how I make my ear grow. And people have these, them scan you, them do all sorts of things. The things that we're going to forget them things there. We may forgive, but we're not going to forget.
This hour that they call Holy Thursday, it was that time I reached Barnet, 14 Barnet Street. When I reached there, Bustamante start to gather soldiers and police in abundance to search for Rasta. When I reach the station, I see a bulk of people. Rasta and who is not Rasta is there. Beating is going on from all angles. They have a long hose that they turn on, using to water the place there. So it have a piece of iron down here, and it have a piece up here where it's screwing on the pipe. So them turn on the pipe now, and the water running through the hose. And then put us down, to kneel down, in a gutter way, and start to beat.
With the hose?
Yes, with the hose and big stick, and all different type of lick.
So they turn on, what are they doing with the water?
When them lick you and the blood start flow, them turn on the water and wash with the blood.
What a wicked act.
At that time now, Bustamante never come down. Thursday now, Friday morning, which is the time of crucifixion, Bustamante come down.
The Good Friday for them and the Bad Friday.
Yes, and the Bad Friday for her. Yeah. Bustamante come down now with a battalion of police. More police more than soldier. And them start to beat. And them have a
beating in front of Buster now?
Right in front.
The Prime Minister witnessing the beating?
Right in front of Bustamante.
Who the beating?
Please?
Just everybody that get beaten?
Everybody who is inside getting beaten. You have 9 cells round by 14 Barney Street. And from the first one to the 9th, it's packed with people. And people still coming in. So as you come in, you start to get beaten from both sides. Soldier here, police here. Who no butt you, box you. Who no kick you. Them do every type of thing to us at that time. Bustamante was there. And he said to them, say, beat them and let them say Rastafari and Babylon stand. And if I don't kill out Rasta out of Jamaica, God for blind me.
So you heard when Buster said that?
I heard that with my ears, Sister Angie.
Bongo Frank, you heard that with your ears?
I heard that with my ears.
I ask you this, Bongo Frank, because we hear this all the while. And at first we are talking to somebody who actually hear it with them.
I heard that with my ears.
Yes.
Empress Andrea.
Tell us what I'm saying again.
Bustamante.
Tell us what the Prime Minister said.
Bustamante is the Prime Minister. He has on a cream serge pants, a striped blue shirt with white background. He has on a black water boot, and the bottom of it red. He had a 22 in his side. And him said to the police them, anyway you say 1 or 2, bring them in, dead or alive. And what 14 Barney Street cannot hold, Borg will hold them.
And Borg is a cemetery?
Yes, ma'am. So, while we were there now, I witnessed the cell that I was at, number 1 cell. 35 person in 1 cell. You cannot lay down, you cannot sit up. You have to stand on 1 foot. And when that foot tired, you stand on the other one.
35 person.
35 person in 1 cell.
And that cell can hold about how much people?
It can hold more about 20.
35. So you have to stand up 1 foot at a time.
And
how long you stand up like that in a cell?
No, you can't stand up no long time, So you have to stand on the foot and ease it, and stand on the foot and ease it. The man who sit down, if him get up, him can't go back at that space. The man who stand up, and if him try to get a seat, him can't find by the same space where part him come from. What's the man to take us out? And he tried to transfer us from 14 Barney Street to Hanover, the barrack prison. I was there for 3 months without trial and beaten in every one of the stations that you go to. No mercy never sure to Rasta at that time. Bustamante look upon the people and say, Buster say, if him don't kill out the Rasta people and ganja out of Jamaica, God was blind him. So that time now, the massacre was too terrible to talk about. For there was no one who don't feel pain. If you have the smallest piece of beard, you're going to get a beating. And if you're going to a barber shop, and you are not a Rasta, you're going to a barber shop and come out, and the policeman see you, and say you just trim, you're going into jail. I'm saying you go and trim to hide yourself. So at that time, Empress Andrea, we were, I can't tell you this time, for it hurt so much that I feel it in all my heart.
I see it on you, my brother.
I feel it
in all my father. I see it on you, my father.
It's a judgment upon the land.
Fireman.
God.
The big man, a ball man. Look here, man.
Rastafari. Blessed be the God of Jacob, who live forever and forever. Jah Rastafari.
The big man a break down and a cry upon the radio there. Let's see what going on here, sir. No, this is some serious thing. Is because there's no justice, No acknowledgement of the atrocity against last time of Bongo message. No acknowledgement.
Provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
most worshipful Grandmaster, your officers past and present, and hopefully those for the future. This evening's lecture is rather significant and give me quite a lot of pleasure as well as displeasure having to give it. Why the pleasure is very understandable. Why the displeasure may be the problem. But the problem comes not from the persons receiving it. It comes from the manner in which they receive the information for what they have. I brought with me, as you see right here, 2 basic books. They are books from Egypt. When these books were written, there was no God by the name of Jehovah, no God by the name of Jesus, and no God by the name of Allah. Yet African people were here in this world. And I'm going to speak on data going back before Adam and Eve. There were no Adam and no Eve, from whence I'm going to speak, and the world was here. There was no book of Genesis because the Hebrews gave us what is called the 5 books of Moses. And the first Hebrew was a man called Abraham. Abraham was born in the city of Ur in Chaldea. It is spelled U-R, Ur, and Chaldea is spelled C-H-A-L-D-E-A. He was born around 1700 before the common era, as you may say, before Christ. That means that his mother was here. I said he was born from a woman and a man, meaning both parents preceded him, and their parents and ancestors before them preceded him. He was born after they were already a nation, and many other nations that were neighbors to that nation, and there was no state by the name of Israel yet. So I give just slight background to start so that you have no problem in understanding that Solomon wasn't born yet. It would be Abraham was born, according to them, around the 14th dynasty. That's us, the Africans. We had dynasties all along the Nile. I don't know of an Asian dynasty nor of the European dynasty, but I can assure you there were African dynasties. Thus, if we had dynasties, we had pharaohs. As a matter of fact, we had the first one. And we had them until the Asians came, while we were in our 14th dynasty, the first group of Asians to come to conquer any part in the continent we call today Africa. We had dynasties. In and around the first dynasty, we were still without an organization we today call Masonic, by whatever reason or meaning. And in the third dynasty, however, we started an organization to continue the building of structures in Egypt. And may I remind you that Egypt is the last nation built along the Nile, not the first, as some of us speak. The first nation built around the Nile started in Central East Africa. Today we call it Uganda. It was part of the Bokonga Kingdom. And I'm going back rather far because I'm going before the first dynasty, meaning I'm going before 4,100 years before the Christian era. Solomon, on the other hand, doesn't come in before 1000 BC, and that would be around the time when Greece came into existence. That means the first European nation. I hope you will take note of that fact. The first European nation in history is Greece and Rome. That is providing you want to accept that a wolf named Remus raised two people, and those people created a state. I mean, if all those kind of things we accept in the Harvard and places like that, and it's okay. But when I speak anything serious, it's difficult because they come from Africa. Now, these positions I'm laying down so that we have no difficulty when I start to deal more directly in what we call the Masonic literature. It would seem to me that the history states that the first literary person in all of Europe, the first one to have written anything for publication so that others can read it, would be a Greek. And that Greek would write two pieces of literature, the Iliad and the Odyssey. The first two books written any place in Europe. And the nation was called Greece, and the author was Homer. There is, I will put my life on it, no other work written in Europe prior to those two books, the Iliad and the Odyssey. And Homer said in the Odyssey, even the gods that Greece adopted came from Ethiopia. And there's no Ethiopia anyway in the continent of Europe. No Asia. There's one in Africa, East Africa to be exact. I know, I was born there. Now, that as it is, we need to move a little, but I just thought that it was necessary to establish this point. So we got two most important things in what I'm going to speak about tonight. I am not speaking tonight when I mention the name Solomon and the Masonic lodges or anything dealing with Masons, dealing with Asia or Africa or vice versa. I am dealing with Solomon as spoken about by England, not by Asia or by Africa. Let me make it clearer. A part of an island related to Europe, otherwise in ancient time called Anglo-land, which is today called England, with a combination of Ireland and Scotland. This land took upon itself, after finding some documents in Egypt, a part of Africa, Northeast Africa, they translate those documents for the purpose of their own. And out of that, using with what was developed as the Holy Grail in an attempt to conquer part of Asia and part of Northeast Africa, in that they continued on, adopted certain teachings, and did call that today what we know as the Masonic principles. Those principles were attributed to a condition dealing with one of the head of the Hebrew government, one man by the name of Solomon. The same Solomon, it is said, that had a relationship with the great queen of Ethiopia by the name of Makeda, which you commonly speak of here as the Queen of Sheba. But may I remind you, Sheba is in Asia. She was the queen of Aksum, because what is called today Ethiopia was then called Aksum. Ethiopia is a name given us by the Greeks, not by ourselves, as we have had many other names. So she was the queen of Aksum, but the empress of Saba. Let me make it clear again. When a queen has a land, she's the head of that land. When that land under her captures another king or another country, another land, she then becomes empress of the land she captured. And that's I need that qualification because it becomes very important in my discussions. There we have now, for the sake of time, we must make some things very clear. Why did we need any kind of organization, whether it be from one or the next? Number one, something had transpired in what is today called Egypt, from the Greek Egypticus and the English Egypt, the Africans Tameri, and other people have different names they call Egypt, especially the Jewish Mizraim and so forth. But what had transpired is that in the third dynasty, a revolution took place, and the revolution was something that has put the world on fire ever since: the building of stone structures. In the third dynasty, under the pharaoh Djoser, D-J-O-S-E-R, otherwise called Sir, S-E-R, which the Greeks could not pronounce, and they called Djoser, D-Z-O-R. A man, this man, a multi-genius, a man of many, many talents, by the name of Imhotep. Most of us knew him first as a physician. And we said that he was the first physician, when in fact we have still found out that his mother was a physician and his two sisters were physicians and many other people before him were physicians. But nevertheless, that would be enough for the point. Imhotep didn't want his pharaoh to be buried as other pharaohs before him, because the place in which they were buried soon rotted, and there was no proper way in which you could protect what was left. Thus, he pondered consistently for a place to bury the pharaoh and the method in which to, and finally came up with the use of stone, masonry. And that is where the aspect of the word masonry is going to start. Imhotep died in the third dynasty around 2785 before the Common Era. Solomon was born not before 1000 BC. So Imhotep was over 1,200 years older than Solomon. And he's going to introduce what we today call Freemasonry. 1,200 years before Solomon. So if Solomon is the father of Freemasonry, what would you call Imhotep? The grandmother? No, but I understand. I understand because the European told us. And if they told us, it got to be right. Irrespective of the data that we deal with. Let us continue. So Imhotep designed a pyramid, but he did not start out to design the pyramid, but to design a bench, a box, a mastaba. Mastaba is an Arabic word. The Arabs weren't there yet, by the way. I'm just using the term that is used. The Arabs are going to come way, way later. There's no Arabs in the world yet. They don't exist. Imhotep continued and built one mastaba, two mastaba, and 7 of them, one each smaller than the other. It looks like a wedding cake. Today, the step pyramid at Saqqara is still there to the present time that you can go anytime to Egypt and see, as so many other of the 91 pyramids, covering over an area of 10 miles square. So it is that particular pyramid that we are interested at this particular point. May I remind you, there is no God at this time by the name of Jehovah. None named Jesus and none named Allah. I must remind you, because it's very important, that your ancestors worshiped different gods and goddesses, none by that name. They're not going to do that until they are in the 14th dynasty, when the Hebrew would come to us, Avraham or Ibrahim, as you may say, would come and then introduce his concept of a deity. When we go back to the book of Genesis, after worshiping the goddess Hathor or Het-Heru, the goddess that looks like a cow with woman's ears, goddess Het-Heru. Now you recall that when Abraham is having to make the sacrifice with his son, offer to make the sacrifice with his son, and that was the goddess, the cow goddess that they showed then. It was the cow goddess that the Ethiopians, the Nubians, and the Egyptians carried with them when they went all the way to India, struggling. When they conquered the city where Abraham was born, they conquered that city and changed the name from Chaldea to Punt. It is at that time, however, that Imhotep gathered around him the men who worked on the pyramids of Saqqara, and given each of them respective name based upon the jobs in which they did. There were the master mason, and I would, in some of these cases, my brothers, I will not define the relationship of certain titles to a certain job, because you will understand why I am not doing it. Because at this moment we will not speak on each other on what level or the other level, or who's right or who's wrong. We're not going to speak of that. We're speaking on another thing altogether. In so doing, the brothers were placed, and certain symbols or tokens, as you may call them, were placed on the individual. Men were given a certain designation and responsibility which they had. But something was more important than that also. Since the ancient Egyptians, as I'm using the term you know, had to be reminded, as they reminded themselves, from whence they came. Any organization they had to relate back to the central position that they came from, the beginning of the Nile. That is why one of the major papyrus still states, we came from the beginning of the Nile, where God happy dwells, at the foothills of the mountain of the moon. Let us dissect this. We came from the beginning of the Nile. There are many places at the beginning of the Nile. The furthest point south will be in Uganda, the White Nile. By the way, since there is no Lake Victoria, they may have one in England, but they don't have anyone in Africa. So we will go back to the original name, Mwanja Nwanza. And we will call it that because that's what the African name it. The fact that they came from England and name it what they want don't mean we have to follow it. When they're gone, we go back to what is ours. So, Mwanza Nyanza. And they said from the beginning of the Nile. But there is another part of the beginning of the Nile. It starts in Ethiopia, Lake Tana, and it's called the Blue Nile. The Blue Nile and the White Nile flowing down north, not down south. We're not here. We are in Africa, and north is the lowland, south is the highland, and it flows down north and merge both rivers merge at a place called Khartoum in Sudan. A third body of water out of the Ethiopian highland, called the Atbara River, flows down north and merges with the two bodies of water that had merged already and formed just the plain Nile, which continues north into ancient Nubia, from there into ancient Egypt, through Egypt, and empties in the Great Sea, now called the Mediterranean. So, in his description of where he came from, Ethiopians, Egyptians, Nubians, and others, he made that very clear. But in making that clear, in all of the stations they made, and speaking about certain very important traditions of the trilogy, it was necessary to make those stations very clear. Thus, when some of you talk about going to take bones out of the earth at a certain place, cross the fence in Ethiopia, you must remember that the three men of the three names were not from Ethiopia, but had gone to Ethiopia to evade the behavior as some wrongful brothers. When they went to Ethiopia, they did not go to Ethiopia with the Western title of 33 degrees, symbolic of the life of Jesus. Now let's face it, where the 33 comes from. A circle is not made of 33 degrees. It is made of 360 degrees, and each quarter of the circle is 90. And you will have to go to Meroe to go to the second quarter. You see, at home we are not allowed to put an electric cord in the socket and then walk on the produce of that electric cord. We have to go to Meroe, place called Meroe. And heaven knows it's hell to get to Meroe, because you're going there in a British Jeep, and there's no road. When you drive back 5 minutes, the track is gone, and you've got to know, I have to carry somebody who knows just where to go. Otherwise, you could be there driving around for a few days, or maybe forever. And you then go and you walk on the hot grass. And I'm saying hot grass to make you feel good, but there's no grass there. You're going to walk in the hot sun. And when you have walked enough, I've got elder men in here, when you've walked enough and are almost exhausted, then somebody sees one of the 44 pyramids in Sudan. Nobody tells us there's Sudan, right? When last did you hear there are pyramids in Sudan? Take my words, there are. I've been there a number of times, and I've needed the podiatrist when I return. But there is that hot sand in which you walk. There was no Solomon when they built the first pyramid. There was no Abraham, the first of the Hebrews. And I'm not saying that for joke. I was born in the Hebrew religion, and I let it go. Because you cannot tell me lies and expect me to continue to lie because I'm a member of the group. It is incumbent upon me to change the lie, if it's possible, or get rid of it completely. Because the integrity of the African person is that of the deity. I said before that it's going to be difficult to give this lecture. It is difficult because I am speaking to a house of my people. And I understand the significance of the words I used. So I need to document a little further. I am quite respectful of the man, the honorable man, the man whose body and soul went on, his ka and his ba went on to the next world, who laid down his life for me and others like me, when he took upon himself a rights passed on from the British Crown to him who had come from Barbados to Philadelphia, and then dealt with others, included Washington, who I have no respect for. You see, when a man exchanged any member of my family for molasses for their being slaves, how can I respect them? You don't know if a European having respect for Hitler. Now, how should I have respect for a man that treat me like Hitler treat people? Unless you don't have any respect for me yourself. So I don't have any respect, but I'm talking about a man that you pay honor, most reverent honor, in this institution. I'm speaking at this brother in context for what he meant for me and others. I have read carefully his background both in war and outside of war, and his relationship in the United States of America, or what turned out to be the United States of America. Thus, I understand that man. I understand that he was trying to do the best. It put me in the mind of when the brother from the Virgin Islands came here, Dr. Blyden, Dr. Edward Widmott Blyden. When Dr. Blyden came here to Atlanta, ATC, the religious institution there, you should read what Dr. Blyden said, and you would vomit. You would get sick. But you have to remember that Dr. Blyden had just come here from the United States, what was the Danish Virgin Islands, which later became the United States Virgin Islands, and he was repeating what he had been taught without any other experience. You read the same Dr. Blyden's work a number of years later when he had stopped being the president of the College of Liberia, and you see two different people completely. In the first case, you have seen a little slave with a slave mind. In the second case, you have seen the slave who had dropped his slavishness, become an African man, and spoke as an African man. It is Blyden is the one who had given us the term, what does the European have that the African woman have to take as a model for her beauty? The question, of course, was answered itself, and the answer was nothing. Back to the Masonic principle. It is in this context, then, that Imhotep laid down the value of the Masonic principles. Masonic principles. And the first principle he dealt with is the concept of the one and only deity. We talk about the one and only deity in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and there still is no one and only deity. We said the God above all other gods. For I am a jealous God. Akhenaten said, there is only one God, and his name is Aten. One said there's only one God. The other one said, I am above all the others. Judaism, Christianity, if I'm wrong, correct me. But we can't deal with it because it hasn't been endorsed by our European masters yet. Probably it will never be too late. Someday we will all recognize a God. Because if I brought a picture of God here and try to put him on this hall, I may not be lucky because he may not be the right color based upon some that I've seen. But when Imhotep decided to inaugurate the first lodge, L-O-D-G-E, he made a distinction between the church or the synagogue, or we'll call it what, the house of worship. That would be the best thing to call it, so there'd be no difficulty. He made the distinction between that and the lodge. And when he induct what they call the village lodge, the city lodge, the lower lodge, not the one attached to the pyramid, because that one was for the operation of the human body, to remove the intestines and other aspects, including the heart, soul, and to put them in the canopic jars. The placing of those things in the canopic jars was part of the Masonic order, part of the work in which a Mason had to perform. I asked you, gentlemen, do you perform this work? No. We don't any longer, because England, the English House and the Charter House said that we were not interested in the actual act. Up until the death of Selassie, to be a member of the Ethiopian inner house, those who were in the inner house had to perform this act as well as their ladies here, so as well as certain other things. I know you would bear with me understanding the circumstances under which I have to speak. But anyhow, those traditions in which were being established at that particular time were held and carried on. Different stations or different applications were used, and in them they then adjusted this book. What I have before me here is an original copy of the Book of the Dead and the Papyrus of N. You may have heard of it. You heard your Bible speak of the last book of the Bible. And you say, I brought it. It isn't where it is, where it isn't, and it's in 3 languages. It's in Medo-Nesha, it's in Greek, and it's in English. So if you have any doubt in either one, you can check it out. And I am not able to carry it a block. I'm not that young anymore. But I brought it for you to look into it and to see certain things that you will recognize. A lot of things in there you would recognize. That is like when I went to a mosque one day and to a synagogue and so forth. The sister was testifying, and I was in suspense. A woman testifying? Where did she get a testis to testify? To testify was the duty of a man, that should he tell not the truth, he would be demanded. But then I realized that everything has become symbolic in the West. What we are doing is symbolism. Anybody knows. People aren't even afraid anymore to come to you on the end of a what, or come drawn, or anything like that. Because they already know nobody's going to be hurt. They will go and lay in the coffin next to you. Because, as a matter of fact, nobody goes in the coffin with anybody these days. And it is said, it's read, but it's never carried out. Everything is symbolic. We have nothing, thank you, sir, that we use in realism. The words then, why is it that Solomon has been given the dubious responsibility of carrying this on his head 1,000 and odd years later, when this were already in its full strength. Because around Solomon, they could build the most logical person for them to have carried the torch over and transfer it to Israel. But if you read the Ethiopian account of Makeda, the queen of Sheba, visit to Solomon, then you would understand that it could not have been, since in fact she went to Israel when Ethiopia was the strongest nation in the world. And she went with a delegation, gave him her body, and took what the little did have, took that away, plus a promise that when her son Makeda came older, Makeda's son come older, Abna Hakim the first, which you call Melanik the first, his name is Abna Hakim, that he will return to Israel, receive the ring, the golden ring, and return back to Ethiopia, and then he would return with the golden whatever. Now that is a mystery, because it isn't in Ethiopia and it isn't nowhere. But we know what is called in Egypt the golden box, for the confined one. See, when we take religion and use religion as an aggressor one to the other, we are bound to get the cut off, because then we don't speak to each other, we don't share with each other, and therefore information breaks off and we could pass anything. And that is what has happened to us during this period of time. So the Queen of Sheba returning with Yakba, when Yakba brought back the brothers with him, well, now they call us Palasha, but we call ourselves Beta Israel. When they brought back the fellows with them, and the Ethiopian Chronicles of the Kings, the Kebra Negats, when the Kebra Negats was adjusted to suit of recent time, then you could see what all that all stood for. From then on, it was necessary to use the European system of passing identification by paper, by templates, by different things to say what one is. From then, it was necessary to remove the heavy requirement from 7 degrees before you can go out and call yourself a man at 3 degrees. You had to come in at 7. I think the 3-letter men still do that. The odd fellows still use the 7 degrees. From then, you stop burying as you are born as a baby in the crouched position. Then you are buried straight out. From then, you did not do such things as we were talking about. The pass through the window, it was not necessary to do when the brother passed away. He was not compelled to pass him through the window, and these different kind acts of things. I think it was Churchward, Dr. Churchward, FPRS, in England, who wrote 8 different books on Freemasonry. And he placed down the different kinds of things that were changed to suit this kind of work. As you know that Churchward asked for acceptance in the lodge in Nubia and was turned down. That they was told that outside of the African people there were no way in which they could give him that kind of honor. Thank heavens they still maintain it. You see, when one looks at this, look what has happened. Remember that this remains strong. It remained the defender of certain things until the Roman Catholic wanted to thrust its muscle in Spain. And during the period of Inquisition, the Masons found themselves in a lot of difficulties with the Roman Church. Out of that, the superintendent of the order, as you know, the Jesuits are not members of the Roman Catholic Church. The Jesuits are members of the fighting arm that protects the church. The superintendent is the head of the Jesuits. And he had lived for many, many years in Spain until 25 years ago when he was carried to Rome to live, but not under, but in conjunction with the Roman Church. And at that time, the Jesuits started. But again, we must go back to the history. Here we are again. Louis Molina. Louis Monera, a man whose parents went to Spain from Mauritania. An African carrying the name of a Moor. Was one of the strongest Jesuits, one of the first of the three that formed the Jesuit order. And he moved first against the Protestants and others. There were a number of other Jesuits, of course, from Mauritania and other places, but I needed to bring them up in your memory. The using of the seventh degree to bring a man into the entry, and that's as much as I can say about that right now, had not been carried away until much later. Of course, the three-letter men pick it up. That's the three circles. And they instituted it, whereas symbolically many of us still maintain the three things. What becomes difficulty, however, is how does ourselves as African brothers and sisters communicate with each other in letters which we could understand. That the letters itself become ambiguous in that some is a 4 letters, some is a 3 letters, some is whatever the letters. And we are able to sit down continuously speaking with our former master's children, asking to find a way in which we can work, but we don't sit down with our own. Now you explain it to me. Explain it that I can sit down with any European group and talk peace, talk in merger, but I can't sit down with one person looking like me and speak merger. Why? Years and years of induction as a slave. That mentality continues. And that means the world over, including at home in the motherland. Something must be wrong. Until that day when we can speak to each other. Like I told a man, he said to me, "What are you?" I said, "A man." He said, "No, what kind of a man?" I said, "A straight man." Because these days you can't tell a man from a woman. And they told me it's a matter of preference of sex. And I said, no, my sex don't go that bad. That it's a matter of... But I had to I said, when I'm in Barbados, I'm a Barbadian. When I'm in Jamaica, I'm a Jamaican. When I'm in Virginia, I'm a Virginian. When I'm in Ghana, I'm a Ghanaian. In other words, wherever there's a black person and I'm dealing with him, I am that black person wherever he is. That's what I am at the particular moment. I am like the people I am among my people. And if we can ever think of ourselves in that terms, then we will have no problem understanding that we need to go back. If we're going to call ourselves any such name, and you could examine it when after the lecture, and the question and answer period, and you will see things that will, unfortunately, it's all numbered, the books, and they have no more, and they said they're never going to reprint it. But I just wanted you before the question and answer period to deal with this. There is a greater extent to this lecture, and I know the sisters are going to feel a little disdain. But sisters, if I came to a lecture given by someone for you, discussing your relationship to something this important, I will understand that I am not female. And because I am not female, there will be certain things you're speaking about that I cannot get the intricacies, because I'm not a woman. And I don't feel let down at all. Believe you me, just as you got a door on your bathroom, and you say, I can come in at certain times and I can't come in the other time, and I'm your husband. Just so I got the same door on my bathroom, and I'm your husband, and you can't come in. So everything I'm doing is for the benefit of both of us and the children. But at times, things have to be done in our own behalf. Bringing it down to an ending for a very strong question and answer period, and please don't be afraid of me. And on Mondays or Tuesdays, I do not wear my gorilla head. It's the other times. And you may ask me anything. If I do not know, I will tell you I do not know, because there are quite a lot of things I don't know, more than I do know. And feel very glad of the fact that I don't know a lot of things, because it's abnormal. Now, understanding all of this, my brothers, I am looking for the day when we can come together, regardless of where we are, over the world. And we will not have a mass organization, whether it carries 3 letters, 4 letters, or 10 letters. We would have, I hope, a quality organization. We will go back as our ancestors did, where we met and discuss all of the disciplines of the world. There would be lectures in engineering, science, mathematics, the 7 liberal arts, and so forth, musicology, and so forth. We will have all that again. The Masons would be a place where we can send our youngsters to learn science and engineering and so forth and so forth. Again, it will rejuvenate us to make us back in the men that we were in the past. And of course, we will use it for passing and crossing the ways. We will send our daughters, and we will certainly work very close with our sisters, not as extension of ourselves. Our sisters are entity unto themselves, but conjointly they are us and we them. And together we can create that which we had once more. My brothers and my sisters, I know I have taken quite a lot of time with you. And while I was speaking, I had to do a lot of thinking in the things I could say and the things I can't say. But I am sure that you have heard my speech, and in between some of the words you notice that a lot of the things could not come the way they're supposed to. And so I held that for another time, when we can meet head to head. I hold it from another time when we can get chest to chest, ear to mouth to ear, and foot to foot. And then, my brothers, we are not could change this around. We will change it around. I never once, and I'm not much, only just 76, but I recall when my father was, I'm going to finish on this, when my father was 102 years old, quite a young fellow, and he had broken his hip. He was blind because of diabetes, and he walked on a mango, he was an attorney, he walked on a mango seed and slipped. It was freshly eaten. And he knew, because my daughter, this particular daughter, my oldest girl, was a physician, and he had known that if you break your hip at that age, can't move around, pneumonia is going to set in, and within a week or two you'll be gone. And my father was telling jokes. The doctor had told him to stop smoking, and he said, "For what?" He said, "I'm going to die." I mean, if I can save something, then tell me don't smoke. But if I want to die just the same, let me smoke. So Dad used to tell a lot of jokes, something similar to me, or I'm similar to him. And my daughter went to him this day in the hospital, and she said to him, "Granddad, what were you trying to do while you broke your hip?" He says, "Well, darling, you know that I'm blind, and I was trying to catch my girlfriend." And so my daughter said, "But Granddad, what you were going to do?" He said to her, "You are my grandchild, right?" He said, "Yeah." "And my son is your father, right? Now how you think you got here?" And so it got to my daughter, and she continued to laugh hilariously, and so she turned back to see the old man for the next punchline, and there he was with his face laughing. And that's what they covered it up, that he died the way he lived, always telling a joke. I hope I don't die this way, but I hope I say to you, peace.
Thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
To be in the place of Ma'at, we anciently lived 42 divine principles. We made these 42 declarations of righteousness. Not have I done wrong, not have I despoiled, not have I robbed, not have I slain, not have I defrauded the offerings, not have I diminished oblations, not have I despoiled the things of interred, not have I spoken lies, not have I wasted food, not have I afflicted any, not have I wasted my seed, not have I made to weep, not have I eaten my heart, not have I transgressed, not have I acted deceitfully, not have I desolated the plowed land, not have I been an eavesdropper, not have I set my mouth in motion against any man, not have I raged except with a cause, not have I defiled the wife of a man, not have I defiled the husband of a woman, not have I polluted myself, not have I caused terror, not have I committed offense, not have I inflamed myself with rage, not have I made myself deaf to the words of right and truth, not have I caused grief, not have I acted insolently, not have I stirred up strife, not have I judged hastily, not have I been an eavesdropper, not have I spoken overmuch, not have I harmed, not have I done evil, not have I cursed the king, not have I fouled water, not have I made my voice haughty, not have I cursed the Creator, not have I committed theft, off the offerings from the beatified one. Not have I wasted food of the infant. Not have I sinned against the enter of the town. Not have I slaughtered animals. These 42 oracles of Ma'at were the basis from which Moses received the 10 Commandments when he went to school in the temples of Anu, in the Kemetic nation of Taui, in the Nile Valley, in the land now miscalled Egypt.
Thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Question number 4. Do the Gospels contain eyewitness tradition?
When I was a Bible-believing evangelical Christian, attending Moody Bible Institute, before I began my serious scholarship on the New Testament, before I began to read it in Greek, and before I saw what serious scholars of the world had to say about it, I was absolutely convinced that the Gospels not only contained eyewitness tradition, but that they were written by 2 eyewitnesses, Matthew and John, and by 2 people who were close companions to people who were eyewitnesses, Mark and Luke. Intense research has a way of changing your mind about things. But I don't want you to think that this is a reason for you not to use your brain. Even if you are the most hardcore, Bible-believing evangelical on the planet, you surely think that God gave you a brain. Use your brain. Craig and I will agree on this. God gave you a brain to think with. Apply reason. That's why God made you a human being instead of a slug. Don't be afraid of using your intelligence to find out the truth. The truth may not be what you were taught, but if it's true, you should believe it, not run from it. As I studied more and more using my intelligence as an evangelical, but also praying about it, I became convinced that the New Testament Gospels were not written by eyewitnesses or by people who knew eyewitnesses. The first point to make is the rather obvious one that the Gospels don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses. They are all anonymous. The titles in your Gospels, the Gospel according to Matthew and so forth, were added by later editors. They were not put there by the original authors. Second point, none of the Gospels claims to be written by the person whose name it bears. They don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses, and they don't claim to be written by people named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are later traditions that were added to the Gospels. These traditions do not start appearing for about 100 years. Some people think that there is an early church father named Papias who attests to the witness of Mark and Matthew, but in fact there are very solid reasons for thinking that Papias, who lived around the year 120 to 140, is not referring to our Mark or our Matthew. The first time anybody refers to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John by name is Irenaeus in the year 180, 100 years after these books were written. My understanding of the Gospels, as they've come down to us, is that they were anonymous, and we don't know their names, and they're not built on eyewitness testimony. But the important point that I want to make is that even if the Gospels were written by eyewitnesses, or even if they did contain eyewitness accounts, that would not guarantee that they were accurate. Think about our legal system today. Are eyewitnesses always accurate in what they report? If so, why do we have trials that call in testimony more than one eyewitness? If eyewitnesses were always 100% accurate in what they report, we wouldn't need law courts. If we wanted to know what happened, we would simply ask somebody. Eyewitnesses do not always get all the information right. But even if they did, it wouldn't matter because the Gospels of the New Testament don't claim to be written by eyewitnesses, and in fact they were not written by eyewitnesses. The Gospel writers were living 40 to 50 to 60 years after Jesus died. They wrote the Gospels in Greek. Jesus' language was Aramaic. These Gospel writers were living in a different country. Decades later, where did they get their information from? They were not the followers of Jesus. They don't claim to be followers of Jesus, the disciples. They're written by later people decades later in a different language. Where did they get their information from? They heard stories about Jesus that had been in circulation year after year after year, decade after decade, down to the time that the gospel writers living in a different country, speaking a different language, heard the stories. What happens to oral stories when they are transmitted orally? They change. The gospel writers have discrepancies among themselves because the stories that were told and retold were changed over time, and the gospel writers themselves sometimes change the stories. That's why there are discrepancies. That's why scholars might be able to tell you generally what Jesus was about. They can list 8 things that Jesus did, but they can't tell you the details and agree. Why can't scholars agree? Because there are so many discrepancies that the Gospels are not reliable.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yes, we have been listening to Ben Buchanan talking about the African origin of Freemasonry. You know, a lot of people hear about Freemasonry, and because we look on the European version, we tend to demonize it. Just like how them demonize the Ankh and the Eye of Horus, put it on them dollar bill, and the swastika, them call it the swastika, and so many other things that Africans originate and create, that them use it and then we start refuse it because them use it. So once again, them bring up this Easter thing power again. And next holiday in the Christian calendar, which we know say is a lie too. Just like them 25th of December is a lie. Them Easter is also a lie, because Easter have nothing to do with nothing in Asia or Africa. All of it is created around a European concept and idea. We know that. Because them have all Easter egg, Easter bunny, bun and cheese, all of them things have nothing to do with the majority of black people ancestral legacy. Nothing. Nothing. But black people will relive and reenact the old European idea of a man them call Jesus, created by them to have control over the whole world. Well, not the whole world still, because the whole world don't really accept it. Those who them colonize, the colonized souls lost in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, African people have to wake up, man. We are asleep too long. Like we take sleeping tablet, man. I mean, wow, what else can happen? What else can happen to our people before them realize? What else can happen? Because everything else have happened already. What else can happen to black people wake up? I don't know what else can happen. Yeah, from last year you were telling about this festival that will be held in Cote d'Ivoire, in the Ivory Coast. Well, we finally reached a part now where we're going to keep next week. Next week, from the 9th to the 12th, Africa Come Alive. And when we say come alive, I mean really come alive, where it's about 60 of us will be leaving, 60 Jamaican, including musicians, artists, engineers, and whatsoever, be leaving here to go to the Ivory Coast, the first festival of its kind in Africa. Now, we're going to be there, and we are hoping to broad the next time airway on the cutting edge. We are hoping to be broadcasting the cutting edge for the first time outside of Jamaica. And this is most precious to us, and we hope that it work out, that we might be able to broadcast this program from Africa next week, if all technical things can work out. There is a station in the Ivory Coast named Zion FM that it is the promoters who own that station, and we are trying to see how we can connect the two radio stations them. So the next time you hear the cutting edge and you hear my voice, next week Wednesday, we're hoping that it will be in Africa on that radio station, transmitting all the way from Africa to Jamaica, the cutting edge. We're looking forward to that. But you know, so we're going there tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning, but little more, not tomorrow morning, little more. With the stepping razor, the art of war. And this is one of the man them who is one of the hosts of the festival. He's from Ivory Coast. Alpha Blonde, the biggest reggae artist outside of Jamaica on the continent of Africa. Alpha Blonde, one of the man them who will be hosting that festival we just tell about.
International Abidjan Reggae Festival, Abi Reggae, the first edition, 9, 10, 11, 12, April 2015 at Palais de la Culture. In attraction, Alpha Blondie, Morgan Retail, Third World, I-Trees, Kimani Marley, Jalud, Mutabaruka, and many more. Abi Reggae, 4 days for reggae favorite. You're Rasta. Don't miss. Get up, stand up.
Yeah. As you hear, some great artists venturing into Africa to do this festival. Not only reggae artists will be there, but you have Rastafari, brethren and sisters who them take from all Ethiopia. You have brethren who's living on the continent who will be there. There will be conferences and discussions around Rastafari and reggae music in itself. So it's really a wide thing the African them are trying to develop on the continent, and at this time, yeah. So we give thanks. And as I say, it's about 61s from Jamaica that is going. You know, recognize that because it's a very significant move in this time, yeah. So, make we give you Alpha Blondie again as one of the hosts them of this festival from outer Ivory Coast. As we have said, this is the most popular reggae artist in Africa, outside of Africa, who is from Africa itself. Alpha Blondie. We are the rockers. Yes, the Easter bring a whole heap of party. who care about man pan cross and all them something there. Most people are interested in that, you know. Them just see it as another holiday and it's party. That's how I just saw it work out. Sorry, but that's how it go.
If God's by my side, I won't hide. No, I won't hide.
Yeah, virgin out of Senegal named Sheklo, produced by Yosso Endor. Sheklo out of Senegal, man, I tell you. Yes, Cutting Edge.
A blessed good night to you, my beloved.
Blessed about you, man.
Oh, so divine. You know, it's just a miracle. You're playing Sheklo. I was just with him for 2 days, my beloved.
Oh, yeah?
I spent 2 days at his house, and your son daughter say he still loves you.
In Senegal?
This is really powerful.
You didn't know at Senegal?
Yeah, I just got back from Senegal.
Then, you left down there. We are come down there. We're not Senegal. We are come down Ivory Coast Sunday.
Well, I know you're going to Ivory Coast, but here I am. I just returned.
Hey.
Hear this, Muta. Are you listening?
So wait, you see our bridge in the Balfour bridge in there, you see him?
Demba, for some reason me and Demba didn't come together.
You serious?
Yeah, me and Demba hadn't come together, not this time.
Okay.
Yeah. But listen, Muta, I'm listening to you and the spirit of where it is that you're working right now. I am just loving you and loving you more than even the Aki that you brought me the other day. And you know how much I love Aki. But I'm saying to you, from where you stand, you can only go higher. Yeah. And I celebrate you in this knowing. And I just say to you, I'm happy to know you.
Give thanks, brethren.
Thank you, Mutabaruka.
All right, let me ask you a question now.
Yes.
Go on to the tune. The tune them.
We're still working with Fiji. So we're just working diligently, mixing and mastering.
But him not gone back to Fiji Island, brethren. I mean,
yeah, he's back in Fiji.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just working diligently, and as soon as we're satisfied, then we're going to release and just keep working.
All right, sir. Well,
we look forward to the prosperity.
Yeah, man.
Mathematically speaking.
Of course, and that's
I beloved. More strength to you and your family in all ways.
I know a multiplication we are working with.
In the multiplication, materially speaking, monetarily.
Of course.
Yes, beloved.
Blessed man.
More prosperity.
Beloved. Yes. Sheklo. Out of Senegal. Here the brethren saying just come from Senegal. I talk to this brethren now. We're brethren, you know. They see the man the locks it come like a Jamaica they come from, but a bar fall. This one was made popular by Yosso Endor and now produced again by Yosso Endor with a different voice. Sheklo. Yeah, them program are not for the normal listenership, you know. Them program are gone in the realms, you understand? Why you know all the people them who know the Cutting Edge take you for the next level in radio. Yes. Cutting Edge.
Yeah, you're on the radio.
Yeah, man, you're on the radio.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about the staff and the setter.
With staff and with setter.
How come that don't get fulfilled, you know what I say?
With staff and with setter, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, because the rod and the setter get fulfilled, so I wonder how the staff...
No, wait no man, hold on no man. With staff and with setter, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, because this is Selassie hold the rod and the Pharaoh hold the staff. You see what I say?
No, me not see what you say. Me ask you what you talk about. Which Selassie hold the rod and staff. I don't understand what you're saying, Virgin. Explain what you say to me. Explain it.
Yeah, may I explain to you, I said Selassie hold the rod and the set.
Which rod Selassie hold? Which rod?
The rod of correction, man.
Oh, Selassie have a rod named Rod of Correction?
Yeah, man, you know Selassie hold the rod and the setter, man.
No, me no know. Where's again the same hole?
And the Pharaoh hold the staff and the Pharaoh hold the staff.
Which Pharaoh? Who a Pharaoh hold the staff? Which Pharaoh? Which one of the Pharaoh them?
Egypt, man.
Which one of them? Which one of them?
Which one of the Pharaoh?
Yeah.
Pharaoh them from beginning of time, man. From beginning of civilization, man.
So what is the difference between Selassie hold the staff and we say hold the rod and them hold the staff? What is the symbolism to that now?
The symbolism is that the rod and the set get fulfilled, but the staff and the set not get fulfilled yet. You see what I say?
No, me not see what you say, Virgin. I don't understand one thing what you say. So how Pharaoh come in the Island Selassie talking, you know? Oh, you connect Pharaoh with the Island Selassie. I don't understand it.
Because of the fear of them start the whole civilization and the whole philosophy and mathematics and theology, you know. So I say.
A fear of them start that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand what I say? The same star, the same star upon the Ethiopian flag can be found in the pyramids of Giza, in the ceiling of the pyramids of Giza.
Okay.
So may I say?
Yeah. So what is it supposed to fulfill now? What's supposed to fulfill?
The staff and the set are the only thing that not fulfill.
When you say fulfill, what you mean? What gonna happen when it...
Just like the crowning of Selassie, when Selassie hold the rod and the setter.
Scepter, you want to say?
No, man, the setter, when hold them left hand, man. The cross on top of it, man.
The scepter, man. Alright, so what that mean to you, Brethren? What that mean to you? Because me not so deep. Me don't know where you talk about. Because you talk about fear and a fulfill yet. Selassie fulfill, fear and a fulfill. I mean, I understand. Who are fearing at this time, yeah?
Selassie fulfill one of the rod. So I said, remember, say them predict say Selassie that come hold the rod and the set time.
Who predict that?
The fear of them.
Fear of predict say Selassie come hold the rod?
And the setter.
Which fear of predict that? Which one of the fear of them?
From the beginning of time.
No, hold on, man. Hold on. You have a whole heap of fear, you know. Which one of the fear of them predict that? Which one of the fear of them?
Well, you can't remember the name of the fear in a Muta.
Well, maybe you should have to find out which the name of which fear of predict said Selassie I got old rather than scepter. Maybe you should have find out which one of the fear of them.
Yeah, it's just a fulfillment because I just want all the staff and the setting of fulfill yet.
Yeah, me don't know neither, Bridget. Me don't know how it not fulfill yet. Alright? Yeah, blessed. Heal up all the people who is familiar with Sheikh Amadou Bamba. Yes, for all of you who know what we are talking about, Sheikh Amadou Bamba. We want to heal up all the people who is familiar with Sheikh Amadou Bamba. Yes.
Yeah, Rasta.
Yeah, blessed. Heal.
Yeah, Rasta.
Yeah, heal.
Then I'm Mutabaruka.
Yes.
The majority of them on their rally around the throat with fraud and folly. You hear me say?
Eh?
The majority of them on their rally around the throat with fraud and folly.
Majority of who?
The call of them we are calling to you and I tell you something. Call the little bit in them we just talked to a while ago, you see? Me sit down in the kitchen and I boil my porridge a while ago. When me hear your voice from the radio, see? They make me feel like people conversation and they can put up on the head and I'm mad himself and I go like you want mad people too. But nothing wrong with mad.
So you understand what I say? You understand what I say?
Me I try to find a line of understanding, and when me check and stock, him have a touch, you know, but at the same time, him a go off for the line and...
Okay.
All right then, look at no motor.
But you make porridge them was a night, you are the madman, man.
Then that me I tell us upon the tune, come out of the tune, you know, cause here we are going. Allah good in a fire to, you know, eucalyptus, food, boil the porridge, and eucalyptus leaf and lime skin in it.
Yeah, what kind of porridge? Banana porridge or cornmeal porridge?
Eh?
Cornmeal porridge or banana porridge?
A cornmeal or a root me a boil right here now, you know.
Gosh, man. In the one after 1 hour there.
Yeah, man, come me the way up underneath the put a Catherine speak up underneath one place and they call Silver up a John Coil.
I
call us on my right name, but I reckon them everybody call me, you
look like cutting edge a mad man. Cutting edge make porridge them over the morning. I look like
we are talk about it, Mr. Muta. Where I meet you, Ben, I there. So, look here.
Yeah.
When I tell you, say...
So you near Fagan?
Can you live up a content gap, you hear?
No, me ask if you near Fagan.
Fagan?
Yeah, you don't know Fagan, man. From the group of brethren them with on top of the hill there. Oh, you're far from him, alright. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm good at the on the other side. They call me the nearby the Chesterville, you know, the Chesterville youth camp, you know.
Okay. Alright, sir.
Alright then.
Yeah,
we set it back on the normal scene car. We have to reason together with the one another scene and share the inspiration car.
Alright.
The power of the Rastaman travel upon the wind mystically, you hear?
Of course. Alright, yeah, man, me hear the power of the Rastaman travel upon the wind.
Mystically. You never hear when I say mystically.
Yeah, man, me hear you say mystically, man.
And I told man, you know, to say it, man, then no.
Okay.
Because here we are going, as me that say from earlier on, you see? You see the majority of the people them we are live right now. So the mistake.
Yeah.
They don't really have no conversation now for them own, you know.
Yeah, them a read book for find out the conversation.
Some of them do it not read book. Some of them only open book and a look. Because here we are going.
From picture.
You see the same Bible where them a talk about them are open and a read and a confuse them own self.
Yeah.
You see the word Bible where they on the cover before they open it.
Yeah.
If then they only know the word when name B-I-B-L-E, you know, Muta, they would not be going and open it, you know, because here we are going. The word Bible only name basic instruction before leaving earth, you know. So, you see, if you set it on the basic,
are you interpretation?
One of them after they attack about well then, you can't judge the book by the cover. Not true. Rasta.
You know, easy. You
no laugh, you laugh. But a while ago, you go with a laugh.
The laugh your philosophy, what Bible mean? Before what? What's the Bible mean?
The B mean basical instruction before leaving earth.
All right, sir. All right.
That is the abbreviation for Bible. All right, look here.
Yeah.
You see like how SLR name self-loaded rifle?
Yes.
Also Bible name basical instruction before leaving earth.
So when you leave earth, when them leave earth, where them go? Where them go when them leave earth?
Yeah?
When them leave earth, where them go?
Where them go? You see when them leave earth? The only thing where them have to do, you see, make sure they don't leave earth as a prisoner, because only when you is not a prisoner, you is a free person. You hear?
All right, sir.
So set it back to the basic, they know, because look here now. You see the bobbin on the swing machine, even the little small one?
Yeah.
None of them can swing the bobbin on the swing machine. And look here now. Garments is a mouse. So look here. Back to the basic as normal as me did that, you see?
But you know it's a long time you give for talk, though.
Yeah?
You know it's a long time you talk.
Then the time they could have longer, because the time of the master, you know, so you see, as me say back to the basic.
You know, so
the majority of the people, they now use the masterpiece.
Me know that you never say, no, but you know. Who want to get somebody else attack? Who want to get somebody else attack, though?
Well, all right then, nothing wrong. We take a manners and thanks for this time.
We'll go back to the basic. We'll go back to the basic.
You know that me I tell you, I reckon then I call you from way up a Catherine.
All right, sir.
I want you big up one person down and told them name Tyler, see?
Tyler, all right, Tyler. We'll big up Tyler. You call him name so everybody will hear. Say Tyler. Tyler get big up on cutting edge in the middle of the morning. As the man talk about going home. This virgin is from South Africa. Him name Jonathan Butler. And this soon name going home. Jonathan Butler out of South Africa going home. Sweet, sweet music. Yes. Cutting edge.
Cutting.
Blessed.
Cutting. DJ Kevman.
Yeah, man.
Alabama.
I know you, man.
Long time. Maybe I listen to the brother and the fear there. We only can't laugh there, man. I know where I come from. What do I say? I know where I come from, but
explain to me where
you know that.
Explain to me.
No, you when you go in the Bible thinking and you have a fear and you know them teach you wicked and but we read the fear as a title. Fear is not a person.
So let me ask him what the name of the fear. May I ask him what the name of the fear? May I ask him what the name of the fear? But it looks like him understand the part there.
Yeah, I told them teach it.
Yeah,
but is it true I read one book and we not read? Right now today I read a book with the Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama. Well, you know say them him in exile. Him can't
okay, I thought you know.
Yeah man, the Chinese them in exile, man. You know the Chinese them have the Tibet people them and that's raps. And him is the spiritual leader. And him can't go. Yeah.
And me seem have something 18 roads to live and I may have to really and truly if we have followed them on a levels, we'd achieve some better unity because them dig deep. They may have to share a couple of them.
Yeah man, tell me two of them. Two of them I want here.
Alright. Let me have it. Take into account that great love and achievement involve great risk. Follow 3 R's. The next one. Respect for self, respect for others, responsibility for all your actions. And next one to spend time alone every day. You can meditate. And next one now. When you realize you made a mistake, take immediate steps to correct it. And about 15 more still. But each of them really dig deep within yourself to come to understanding of things around you in your life.
Of course.
Yeah, and I really just the more and more I go and learn how we see things and really sit down and sit down and watch and I say, whoa, I saw this up my work and
them not
so amazing.
Them not sit down and tell you must look outside with some supernatural entity. You must talk about inner self and find your inner self and your purpose in life. Rather than a certain outside of you.
Stuart Wilde, you play the silent power and me listen it over and me listen some more record. This is Stuart Wilde, that brother not easy, you know. Easy, that brother there. Stuart Wilde. Yeah, man, deep, man. I think him pass off now still, but deep, that brother there, deep.
Yeah, well, that's why we play.
You know, when you put on some metaphysics and some esoteric thinking and I say, whoa, you play them tape like you pass the teeth then, because you throw them now read nothing outside, I don't want to read nothing outside. You've been taught, but when you out and things are going like,
whosoever will catch it still, so I don't know. I know everybody will catch it. That's why we keep playing them over and over, you know. If you don't catch it tonight, you catch it 2 months time, 3 months time. You know them way there? So
like them something we youth them feel learn. I look at school, I think I youth stop up and next youth and thing. And I tell you it's hurt me, man, it's hurt.
Terrible.
You know? But we have to ourselves so separate, we not look so right, I call my son that are you know, man, that's a boy, the parents, them not, but we not really spend time with the children, them. Like, not so much other things here and there, and it's like we are past everything that's a past, and we still sit down for we need, and we are look for solution. We're not even a problem. You know, see it.
Yeah. All right, brethren, give thanks, yeah?
Yeah, every time, give thanks. But,
you know, tell me I walk with the book where you give me door.
Oh, yeah, but said there.
Yeah, man, may I read? Yeah, man, every little bit, me take a picture. I'm so long in a play night, may I read, man.
Give thanks. I'll say you're giving all it, so we are go and we are They are make ones and ones enlighten themselves.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Yes. Continue.
Yeah, man. Greetings, Muta.
Blessed man.
Yeah, man. This April, you know, at Green Bottom, we'll be celebrating the Earth Day of one of the Rastafari patriarchs, you know, a man who set up a community somewhat similar to Pinnacle, but still standing in Green Bottom, you know, the Peacemakers Association. You know, we'll be celebrating the birth of Reverend Henry, the 25th of April, you know. We're starting with the usual Sabbath service, because them church keep on a regular basis. You know, so they're having a Sabbath service in the day, and followed by a program in the evening, you know, where they deal with looking into the history of the Peacemakers and Reverend Henry. You know, yeah, man. So we invite the community to come out and share with the Peacemakers.
All right, sir. Give thanks.
Yeah, man. And we also remind the ones them of the African Liberation Day ISIS in Malvern.
Yeah.
You know, imploring the Rastas in St. Elizabeth to visit the tabernacle and give us strength in preparing the place for the event. And yeah, man, basically, give thanks and praises.
All right, give thanks, brethren.
Rastafari.
Yeah, whole Nigerian music. Sonny Ade. Long time I hear from Sonny Ade. Yes, continent, yes. Yeah. Yeah, man, blessed man.
Respect. I like to say respect for all of the good work we have to do. You know what I'm saying? And all of the good work we have to continue to come. Don't know. But I go say now, I go say it's past me because my heart are deep and a pondering you to speak here right now. I'm not like, you come like a god to me. I'm not like, my heart are deep out of proportion.
I don't know. Slow down, man. I don't know.
Alright. Really?
Yeah.
Everything the black people go through from then until now, maybe a fair reason, none of we can tell. But one thing for sure, we was on top at all civilization. We was on top when everything come from Africa. We all know that we are first then, right? Black people, every nation will come from black nation because only a black woman can have any other nation, right? Alright, simply meaning we was first then, right? Alright, what the Virgin call and say, the Bible give us basic instruction before leaving Earth.
Yeah.
Now I hear that thing a long time from my born until now.
Basic instruction before leaving Earth.
Yeah. When we look into that, we really say it's possible, yes, because in certain ways, you can really look in it and say, yeah, maybe it's possible in certain ways, you can give a basic instruction. But in my eyes now, where Rasta mean no motor. It's in my eyes, see? Rasta mean Rasta. Assemble. Stabilize. Terminate. Achieve. Rasta, assemble themselves. Stabilize the world. Terminate all that's bad. And achieve all we're supposed to achieve and all we're supposed to have from then until now.
Yeah.
They have been stolen from us.
Alright,
The motor, I just love for that, love for your motor, love for that, love for your, really love for love. With the mind if I'm person, I say love for
where you come from? Where you live?
I live in St. Thomas Motor.
Oh.
Trinity Mount Lebanon.
Me there all over the place, man.
Yeah, man, they call me Tenard Anthony Williams, man, but a fire.
Hold you for name that.
I hold you for name that, I wish me know my right name. Real African name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that have been stolen, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everything have been stolen from your motor.
Them take your mind.
I wish me didn't know, boy, them say, if I know it's hurt, but I wish me did just know, if I ever just come looking more, you know?
Yeah, that's how it goes. You have to just keep going, you know? Experience teach wisdom, you know?
Well, motor, you can't stop looking here, right? You can't stop looking here in the motor. You have to use what I'm doing right now. I do me right now, and I listen here, you know?
Not tell me say you make porridge now, too?
No, really, right now. Okay. Just over and book a bill up on something.
Oh, because man just call me and say, man, make some porridge and, you know?
My bill up one little something and I read a book. Same time I listen to you. My brain focus on a million things at the same time, but I say it go.
Yeah, man. Give thanks still. At them hours a night you read book and I listen to continue. You go on good, man.
I say motor, man. You don't know, say the sensation, it is the braination, it is the ganja, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, man, I know what you're talking about, man. You don't have to spell it out. You don't have to spell that out, you know. I know what you're talking about, man.
All right, my dada.
Bless it, man. Give thanks. Give thanks.
My respect, right?
Imawe niwe baba silale mawe niwe baba silale mawe niwe baba silale mawe niwe baba silale mawe.
Yes, cutting edge.
Greetings,
blessed man.
Give thanks to the Continental, you know. You know, say at one time, the program, they start to get kind of scarce, and me I wonder, say, weird. You know, anytime they come and they welcome, you know.
You mean with the African music, them there?
Yeah, you had you had a void inside of them, you know,
we have a time, you know, we have a time, man.
Yeah, me know, but you know, say we have to keep it continental alive because we are continental people.
Of course.
You know, I want to catch up on certain things. But the first thing, we are in the month of April according to how the Western calendar at the time ago. And being in the month of April, I think we did know upon the second. As I go, I think they say one of our young singers in the reggae world, Garnet Silk, you know, he starts out not singing. I think I'm earth there. So we love to bless him upon him earth there, you know.
All right, give thanks for that.
True. We have the Continental, talking about reggae music, we have the Continental concert will come up.
Yeah.
And that is very good, and them things that will happen even more, you know.
Well, them are planning to have it every 2 years still.
That sounds good. That sounds good. And even take it to other parts on the continent, you know. Yes, very good. Reggae music have to, you know, reggae music, you know, win so in terms of conversion to Rastafari, you know.
Yeah.
Reggae music take it to other parts, from Jamaica to other parts of the Caribbean, in terms of converting Rastafari in a different kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, very powerful. What you know, I want to catch up on certain things. We are talk about the police killing, right?
Which police killing you talk about?
Police killings in general.
Okay.
We had make a suggestion to how this thing have to just be no more. And we realize, because we keep, even when we not hear it in the ear, you know, like we not hear no news, say, police killed 7 youths today. We still remember that it's the reality that is going on, you know, we have this black killing where black policemen are killing them own people, right? It's still a reality. And we hear a suggestion come say, make them pocket feel it. Make
When instead of the people them pay feet.
Instead of the state them, but you know, we most see that work when it comes to the littering, you know. In terms of death, and then money pay, because we see the same thing even with the youth there with them killed with the herb, you know, when the state offer to take the funeral expenses, you know, that is like an affront to the dignity of the victims' people. That's how we see it, you know, because life is priceless. Do you understand what I say? Yeah, and then we did to make it look like, no, take care of expenses, and no. We don't see, well, the suggestion is, you know, everyone's suggestion counts, but we don't see it, so because life is priceless, and no amount of money, no amount of taxing of the pocket of the one who pulled the trigger. No. Because the life gone is priceless. Can't buy that. So we still see it, we still want to hold the stand formation of saying, make sure that those responsible for pulling the trigger pull the trigger no more. Yeah, we still a hold on that.
All right, sir.
Blessed love, I.
Give thanks, man.
Black Eye Creamery.
Aye, every time.
Aye.
Sounds of Africa out of Gambia. Smallest country in Africa, Gambia. Yes, Cutting Edge.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah. I'm calling on the behalf of my son. He was at Recover in the Spanish Town.
He was what?
And at the 20th of February, they called me and told me that he died. I went there the 21st, and when I went there, they say I cannot see the body. I never see the body until the 20th of March. When I go, they do the autopsy, they say that only should look at his face and come up back. They want to give me the body. His name spelled H-A-S-H-A-N-I-E. They spell it H-A-S-I-N-I, and I said I'm not going to accept it. They said they're not going to give me the body. They take it to Brown Funeral Home and said I have to pay the mortgage. I said I'm not going to pay for it because I didn't receive anybody. So I have to leave and come back to Westmoreland. They called last Monday and said I should come and receive the body. We get it Wednesday. And all now, my son's going to bury the 19th of this month, and I don't know the cause of his death. We say he hung. When they do the autopsy, they cannot tell me what is the cause of death. Until now, my son's going to bury him, and I don't know how he died.
So who was with him when he died?
He was at Recover in Spanish Town at the boys' home.
Him died at the boys' home?
Yeah.
And nobody in the boys' home don't know when him dead? Or how him dead?
They only said they find him hung by a piece of bag strap.
Oh, him hung himself?
That's what they said. But they cannot tell me on the autopsy what is wrong. Okay. They said I had to wait until further investigation.
So, and them not investigated yet? And them not investigated yet?
From the 20th of February until now.
Well, should I do now is go get a lawyer and find out from the place where you used to stay where go on this so. So them never call in the police?
The police is investigating the case from Spanish Town.
Oh, the police are investigating?
I asked him what is the cause of death. He said it can be foul play as well as suicide.
Well, I must one of the two. It must one of the two. He not tell you nothing. He tell you two things and must one of the two. So where it reach now? Who are going to bury him?
We're going to bury him.
Yeah, but you have to go find out what cause of the death.
They don't say.
So you don't have a way to get an independent person to do an autopsy upon him?
We don't know what further action should we take.
Well, that may I ask you, if you can't find somebody to do an independent...
we don't have the money.
Oh, you don't have the money? Big problem that all the while. I think say there must be a way where you can demand to you know what kill your son. I think you should have seek some advice from some lawyer or something. Go to a lawyer, make him advise you what is the next step, because if it's your son and you want to know what kill him, that is a right where you need to have. You have a right to find out.
He's 15 years old.
How much?
15.
Yeah, you have a right to find out, Mama. You need to go find a lawyer and make him advise you upon what is the next step. I don't know the intricacies of those things, but I cannot refer you to go and try get a lawyer and make him advise you what is the next move. Because you have to know what kill your son. You have to know. I mean, if you do it look obvious what happened, but sometimes the obvious is not really the reality. You know, so
what the man there said, he was supposed to play a game of cricket and his side wasn't playing. He get angry and he walk away. He go to the house, mother ask for some clothes, she don't give it to him. And they send the officer to companies to his room. And when he leave and go upstairs to look at another guy, when he come back, he don't see him in the room. He found him hung in the bathroom. I said, my son, just for a cricket game? I don't believe that.
So you feel that somebody hang him?
Some phone player. And where he got that backstrap from?
I don't know. So, well, and that's why I say if you need to find a lawyer, then if you feel say all of them things that's what happen, you should have find a lawyer. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, find a lawyer so you can work out this one, because you need to find out what kill him, definitely. All right, give thanks.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Pressure. You need to find a lawyer, though, believe you me. That's the only thing I can tell her right now.
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yeah, man, I want to give thanks to the moment, give thanks to the time, give thanks to the energy, give thanks to stay with way till them hours, yeah. Why you the man who are boiling porridge them time and night, yeah, because I'm a little cutting edge. Why you all the dressmakers and the carpenters and the security guard and the taxi man them who sit up with it them hours, yeah, and listen to the African music, even though them don't understand what the artists them are say. But no, say something where you want to hear and you must hear it. A part of the heritage. Them hardly play African music on Jamaican radio. Yet still African, them play Jamaican music on film radio. When you listen to the music, you kind of get an insight of how the people them steer, the kind of music where they make. And this is a real thing. The kind of music where the country produce can tell you a lot about the people them. Yeah man, me I tell you, African music sweet. Anyway, I go out, you know. Believe you me, I go out, you know. So, as we say, this is the cutting edge in Jamaica. We are hoping that next week, when you listen to the cutting edge, it will be broadcast live from Africa in a place named the Ivory Coast. So we're just hoping that it will work out, because I know this is the first time a radio program going to venture that way. So we hope them can work it out that next time you hear we on the cutting edge, we will be telling you that we are broadcasting from the Ivory Coast in Africa. But meanwhile, we will be back here at 2 o'clock with the stepping razor, the art of war. So we want you to join me at 2 o'clock. From 2 to 5:45. If you them say 2 to 6. Lie them a tell. I rep them a tell lie. 2 to 5:45. Them have them news at 5:45. So it's not no 2 to 6. Nothing. It's not no super mix. Nothing. It's stepping radar with enough advertisement. Understand? So we can't say that, you know. Believe you me, Matrix. So when I come away, I say that, you know. Oh, Matrix saying that I look like a rat bat. The man cuts off the whole line here to rat. He look like a rat bat. No, I tell you. You know, it come like you do something terrible out there and hide now, so you shave off everything. Are your mother save you, man? Your mother save you, you know. Yeah, man. Are your mother save you, man? You know, say, it's about a couple years now, I don't see your mother do, you know. Yes, and I want it a long time, you don't say I need her, you know. She will look for me a long time, you don't see your mother. They're not long. For last year, I tell you. Anyway, I gone, you know. Give thanks to the moment. I gone.